Well, all right then. We got a special edition of Drips in the Office tonight. Little backstory here. The gentleman that you see with me was actually meant to be Pat and I's guest for the program tonight. His name is Suda. He's a local barber who we wanted to have on to address Pat's cleaning of the earhole story, if you guys remember that story last week. But Pat couldn't make it tonight. So at the Drips in the Office, we have a next man up mentality. So Suda, you went from the guest to the co-host pretty quick. How you feeling tonight?
Good. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. Needed somebody, so I really appreciate it. Listen, we had a good week of shows, I think. Some good shows. We had a 9/11 memorial for the record books with Mama K. We, of course, had the Unnamed show. And I don't know if you caught any, but I was just listening to some of Mutt's Mohegan Blockbuster show. Didn't make it all the way through that at all.
I know that. I was in the middle of Unnamed before we started.
But you were actually at Mohegan last week, is that right?
I was. It was interesting.
Yeah. I was watching it today, a little bit today, and the part that I thought looked, I mean, the whole thing is strange, but the part that I thought looked really strange is when he's sitting there and he's looking at the computer. And I know there wasn't a lot of people around, but looking at the computer when there's people in front of him is sort of a strange concept. Like being live, but looking at a laptop instead of the people in front of you.
Yeah. So his computer was set up and the crowd was right behind it, and he's just talking to the computer, not the crowd. Did
you stay the whole time last week?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you with like the Be a Man and Tim Ridgel's table over there?
Yeah, I was sitting a little further back from them, but I was we were all kind of like in the same area.
What was the energy like?
Woo!
Exactly. He was like you could tell at the beginning of the show tonight, he was like really trying to, like, to his credit, I guess, Mutt anyway, trying to like bring up, he's like, oh, Aiton, like you hate me right now, like me and you aren't getting along, and like trying to, bring that on to the show. But pretty early on, Aiton Shanders, I always mess up his name, but he was talking about the chat like right away, and you could tell it was bothering him. Like
we're in his head.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, I thought, even though Pat's not here, I mean, I had a couple people ask me about the ear thing. I think, you're on that was the idea to begin with. So you've been a barber for how long now? How many years?
I taught myself when I was in the Coast Guard in like 2001. And then I worked at the barbershop full time in 2009. And I've been doing it on and off probably I was like full time 2009 like 2015, and then I just like do it here and there.
So long time. By the way, humble brag, Coast Guard. Now always either kind of on your own or in a barbershop, never in a salon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, actually I worked in the basement of a salon for a little while.
The reason I ask that is I feel like the salon, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but the salon is more of a place where you might have the hair wash, correct?
Yes. There is a barbershop I used to go to in Providence that the dude would cut your hair, and they would have like a hot chick wash your hair. And that was like kind of the reason that we used to go there. But
she wasn't even cutting your hair, but she would wash it? Like the guy would cut your hair and the girl would wash it?
Yeah.
That's not the worst deal in the world.
No, it was good. It's a good business plan.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Now, before we get to the ear thing, how often? All right, two things. I doubt you're initiating a hair wash, like you personally as the barber. Like, did you ever have to do it? Did someone ever ask you, even though it wasn't something that you really did?
Very, very rarely.
Do you do it before or after the cut?
After.
Okay, and that's mostly just to get all the hair off the person, right?
Yeah. That would be the only time somebody would, like, a couple times people would ask, like, can you wash it so I can get the hair out?
I want to say in Pat's situation, it was before, wasn't it?
No,
it must have been after.
It had to have been after.
Okay.
In the salon, they'll wash it before they cut it. But in a barbershop, we would wash it after.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So like we'll get right to it. It is sticking, albeit I understand that he covered his finger in a towel, but is sticking a toweled finger inside someone's ear, both ears at the same time, is that something that people do?
No. First, well, I messaged Pat on Twitter to see it when I was heading down to Mohegan to see if he was coming.
Yep.
Last week, and he said no, and then he was like, by the way, and he asked me, he's like, do you clean people's ears? And I was like, oh, of course. Like, people have like hair in their ears, so I like trim the hair out.
Uh-huh.
And I was I can't remember how it went, but he was like, no, like double wet Willie. You're in here, and I almost crashed. I wish I had, so I didn't go to much. I've never. So I did go to barber school too, and they teach you how to like properly wash somebody's hair, and you're supposed to like cover their ear with your hand so that water doesn't go in their ears.
That makes sense.
But I've never. I mean, I guess maybe I wouldn't do it. I'm not putting my fingers in anybody's ear. I'm a nurse, and I'm not putting my fingers in anybody's ears.
Well, especially if maybe if you were going to this person for a while, you know what I mean? And like you were a regular, you guys became friends, you know, you start sticking fingers in places. But I mean, a brand new person that you've never met, it's like after 40 minutes, like you're getting a double plug. That's
I want to know what barbershop he's going to.
Yeah, we're gonna see you sneaking in the back door pretty soon. Now I feel like as a barber, like you must have either conversations with drips all day long, or just the general like landscape of conversations in general are very, very like surface level. Like when someone's getting their haircut.
Yeah, I feel like I have a good feel for like if somebody wants to talk or if they don't want to talk. Just and there's just terrible conversation. I cut some college kid's hair the other day, and he was telling me about how he shaved his head as a joke, and he just kept. There are some terrible conversations.
Would you say they're more awkward than not?
More often. I mean, you've been to the shop. You know, like if there's somebody that like we know that comes in the shop, I'd rather really talk to them than like some like old dude talking about I don't know whatever that I don't really give a shit about.
It's tough. Like if I have to go somewhere that's not like a normal one of my normal barbershops, I'm always in between. Like, do I just be silent or do I try to talk to this person a little bit? Because I kind of hate when you first sit down, you do your pleasantries, you're talking, and maybe it's going well for a second, but then you just run out, and then it's quiet. It's like I almost wish it was quiet the whole time.
Yeah, I'm even when I get my hair cut, and he's been cutting my hair forever. I'm pretty quiet unless like there's like barbershop talk going on. You know what I mean? Then everybody's like involved. That's a lot better than like the dumb conversation you're having about whatever.
I will say there's nothing more like exhilarating or fun than when like the whole barbershop is in on a conversation, or maybe they're talking about something on the TV and you can kind of jump in, you land a joke, it kills like that. There's nothing better than that.
Oh yeah, it's a great environment for just like ripping on each other, and yeah, it's
So let me tell you, we're gonna change gears here, and tell me if you think I'm a psychopath for doing this. I don't know if this is like drip stuff, sales guy stuff, or me just not being able to shut up at all and like just try to talk to anybody around me. I was going to I was in Connecticut, and I stopped at a Chick-fil-A for lunch.
Yeah.
And it had a pretty long line. So I'm standing in line, and the guy in front of me, a little bit of an older guy, kind of slick back hair, but he's wearing a button down shirt, kind of nice pants, nice shoes, and he's carrying a laptop. So I can smell a sales guy, 20 clicks due east. So I just kind of like leaned in front of him, and I was just like, "Hey buddy, what are you selling?" And he turned around. He kind of like looked me up and down. You could tell like I was selling stuff too. He's telling me he's selling like pain management equipment. I tell him the stuff that I sell. He goes up and he orders his food. I order mine. I end up seeing him at his table after, and I walk up to him because he was pretty good at talking. So I walk up to him, I handed him my card, and I was like, "Hey, if you're ever looking for a change, you give me a call."
You guys can sniff each other out in the wild.
That's what I'm saying. But I wonder what he, in his mind, like, because I was a lot younger than him, so he's like, "What is this like young fucking kid saying? Like I'll give him a call." You know what I mean?
Trying to poach him.
Exactly. When I left, I was like, "That was fucking weird. Like, why did I do that?" I don't know why I did that.
We've had a couple in Portland.
What's that?
We've had a couple of those. Why did I do that in Portland?
Oh, absolutely. That's right. So you're you're not going to Saco, right?
No, I'm going to be in Nashville next week.
So what? I know. Obviously, I've been with you to Portland twice and Plymouth, but I think you've gone to other live shows.
I went to Saco last year for the end of the producer search.
Oh, that's right.
And that was the only other ones I've been to.
Wait, so that you went to the one where they named Gus and Coleman?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one to go to.
Yeah.
I assume you're fully caught up on the shows this week?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had myself actually in on Monday with Play It Again Sports Guy.
Play It Again Sports Guy was awesome.
Yeah, he was. I've seen some pretty good feedback for Play It Again Sports Guy. I've seen some people calling him Pawn Shop Guy. I don't appreciate it. I know Cullinane probably doesn't appreciate it either. We also had Mutt and Mike, and then Mike and Cinema Lord, right? I'm not missing anything, right?
Yep.
So you thought Play It Again Sports Guy was good though?
Oh yeah, no, he was good. I'm gonna go check it out. It's not far from us.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go too. He said it's like right on the Cumberland line.
Yeah.
What do you think about like just the whole idea of like starting a franchise is kind of a badass idea, but the fact that it was Played Against Sports, and then what's your thought on having to drop like $500K on it?
I didn't know until he said that they still existed.
Right.
I think there used to be one in Middletown. I think, but I thought they had just gone away, and I was like, oh no shit, Played Against Sports is still going. I mean, it sounds like he's doing all right.
Yeah. I don't know how, like, I was talking to someone else about it too, and I thought it was crazy that he said he had like 5 to 7 employees.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I wonder how big the store is.
Right.
I know in the area where it is, like right before the mall. Yeah, I don't know how big the store is, or I don't think I've actually ever been in one. I remember them, but I don't think I ever went to one.
I could have sworn there used to be one in Seekonk on Route 6.
Was there?
If not, it was just like that. It was like a used sporting good place. We used to go get bats and gloves and stuff over there. But I thought it was wild. Like if you're gonna start, so like you're a teacher, so, and nothing against that, obviously that's a great profession, but typically you're not super well off coming from a teaching profession. You dive into this startup, somewhere along the line it's going to cost $500K, and you have 7 employees. Like if it was me, I feel like I would just be, maybe me and one other person, I would just be there every single day to not have to like pay anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if that's something. I remember when I was cutting hair, and remember when those froyo places were big.
Yes, I thought this. I looked into it. It was like 250,000, right?
Yeah, and I was like, I should open one near the college because Roger Williams is right there.
Yeah,
and I was like, I should open one near the college. Obviously, I never did it, but and I think that they were like, you don't never see those places anymore. But I was like, that's a perfect idea. It takes balls to do that kind of, especially in that kind of a store where you don't ever see them anymore.
Right.
I
know.
mean? And like Cullinane said, like Facebook Marketplace and like that made those stores almost obsolete. But It's
Yeah,
rare.
it's a good point. Like, there's a reason you don't see them anymore.
Yeah,
Like, that would scare the average person away. It almost makes me think like this guy's gonna figure it out because
he was on top of everything. He knew all the numbers.
yep, he answered every single question.
Yeah,
Which, by the way, I was saying this to someone the other day. Whenever Kirk calls his brother to ask him something, he knows the fucking answer. I think today was the first time in a long time he didn't know the name of that sandwich place they were talking about. But other than that, he fucking the Minahan, dude, their memories are unreal.
Unreal.
Crazy. But yeah, like talking to that guy, Dave, played against sports guy, he seemed to like have his shit together and like knew what he was talking about. So I'm pulling for him. I really hope it works out for him.
I'm gonna go buy a baseball glove or something.
Yeah, that's right. Stick on your bed. The only thing, and again, I like the guy a lot. The only thing I didn't like that he said is at one point we were talking, and we can get into this too, but we were talking about Justin at Hooters, right?
Yeah.
And he turned to Justin and he was like, "Oh, are you the type of guy who thinks the strippers actually like him?" And I thought it kind of just came off a little mean.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was kind of I don't like when people go, Justin.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. And it didn't. I think he meant it lighthearted, but like it didn't really. It kind of just came out.
Yeah,
like a douche. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, it came out. I didn't love how it came out, but I knew. Yeah, I knew he was joking, but
yeah. Now, if you had, I don't even know what the situation would be, but so for those obviously who don't know, outside of cutting hair, you do work in a hospital.
Yeah.
If you had a gentleman, albeit over 300 pounds, who just came from the bar after drinking 15 beers,
that happens all the time.
All right, would you consider that person under the influence?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah.
But I understand where Justin's coming from because 15 beers for somebody his size over that period of time,
right,
but that is 15 beers is a lot of beers.
It's a ton of beers. The outside of like being amazed and like kind of shocked that he admitted driving home, which we've all made a decision to drive when we shouldn't have, but I was thinking like I'm just jealous that he even has like the freedom to go to a Hooters and watch football and drink beer and eat wings all day. I was like, wow, that's never going to happen for me ever again in my life.
I want to do the Justin Trudell challenge.
That is. If you could somehow like clear the streets, like part of the challenge would be driving home too. Although I will say, I feel like 10 wings was a little low.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he would crush way more than that.
Yeah. Now, since you are from our area, do you have any say on Hooters versus Wendell's? Have you ever been to Wendell's?
Wendell's, but I have heard of it, and I've only heard good things.
Yeah, it makes me sad that he doesn't like it. It might be because the wings are small. He doesn't seem like a small wing guy.
Yeah, I would love to go. I've never had it. I'm not a Hooters fan.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings isn't bad.
Yeah, they're not bad.
I also liked, last thing on the Plate Against Sports guy, I liked how into it or surprised Kirk was too. Like when he brought that up, I feel like that was right in Kirk's wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, the nostalgia of it, right up there with old malls, and Swansea Mall was a great mall.
Swansea Mall is it's so sad going by the Swansea Mall now.
Oh, it's like a Walmart and like a storage area, storage unit spot, and like it's terrible.
They put like a church in there.
Oh, really?
There's like a strange church in there. Yeah.
Awful. Yeah, that was such a great mall.
I mean, that was my
Newport Creamery.
That was like my middle school. Like that's what I think of. Like on Friday nights, like my mom would drop me off at the mall, and I would walk up and down the mall, go to Olympia, fucking try on a hat.
At Swansea Mall.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the many jobs.
Yeah, it's sad. Have you seen that? There's like an Instagram page of old malls, like deserted malls. It's a pretty cool page to look at.
Oh, I've never seen it.
And they were saying it on the show, but it is interesting that Burlington is like absolutely thriving, like the Burlington Mall.
Oh, I've never been to that mall.
it's like you know how malls now are like outdoor.
Yeah.
This is like a legit old school mall, and it seems to. It's like I don't know. It's like a blast from the past.
Oh shit.
That's where Milton's is. Shout out Milton's.
Shout out Milton's.
Well, what else do we have? Okay, so then the Mutt and Mike show. I thought that Mutt held his own again. Like I keep thinking every time he comes back in studio.
I can't. I know.
You love Mutt.
I love Mutt.
Yeah.
I get too nervous to even go talk to him at Mohegan.
Did you really? How long did he hang around after?
So after the show ended, I left. I went and gambled. Just donated $200 to the
Sure.
You're
covering Mutt's debts to the tribe.
Yeah. I got a little bite to eat, and I went back, and I was gonna watch a little bit of the game, and I saw Mutt over in the corner watching the game. I don't know what time that was, but he was there for a while. I think for a while after.
Wow, I'm actually surprised by that. I kind of thought he would come say hi to people and then try to shag ass home.
Yeah, that's a ride.
I know.
We know he doesn't mind driving far for the gym.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What for 6? Did it seem like when you were there that there was 6 months of planning?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've listened to the show when he said that Shanders is gonna, whatever his name is gonna be remote. Like, I think I've listened to that show 4 times. That's incredible, and he just said it so nonchalantly.
Yeah, even when he saw everyone's reaction, and then he said, he was like, "What do you mean? You knew that?" You could tell in his voice that he knew that no one knew that.
Yeah, nobody knew that. Nobody knew that.
In that episode too, we had a classic Cullinane freakout. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but when he started fucking screaming at Mutt, I was crying laughing.
I think he said about having his back or supporting him.
Oh yeah, like it was about him not taking the Barstool job, right?
Yeah.
But every once in a while, when you get Cullinane riled up like that, just makes me laugh.
I'm so glad he's back.
Me too. Yeah, I'm all in on Cullinane being back. I still feel like there's a piece missing to the Mutt Barstool saga. Like, even when they ask him straight up and he answers, I don't feel like I'm getting an actual answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know what it could be. It does seem like he's like holding something back, or I don't know what it could be, but there has to be something. It has to be something else.
Yeah, I thought so. I was watching. I finally caught up on Mike and the Minifans, and Ned Stark was on. And at one point, he said, "I think Mutt is not afraid of failure, but afraid of success." And that like kind of stuck with me. Like he's afraid. Maybe he is afraid of like whatever the next step would be, or maybe like he gets some attention now, obviously, like on Twitter and stuff. But if you go to Barstool, it's a whole different ball game, and you have to live it at that point. Like everything becomes content. And I wonder if it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I don't want my entire life to be content, which I could sort of agree with.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants to be like a Clemmer.
Like just a punching bag or like someone to make fun of.
And he doesn't want to have to be driving everywhere to go get hats and like that kind of. He likes doing the horse racing, and he's everybody. I mean, we all know he's best with Kirk.
Yeah.
That clip was it? Yeah, to the beginning of the show today. Old him and Kirk was awesome. That
was crazy to hear.
Yeah.
And then like Kirk putting into perspective, saying like Mutt's working full time on the radio. Kirk's filling in.
Yeah.
And it's wild how Kirk was literally shoehorning the wedding stuff in. Like he's always had that instinct.
Yeah. Incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah. It was they nailed it. I don't know if it was Mike or Kirk who said it sounds like, I know this sounds obvious, but like it sounds like you guys but younger, or like an animated child version of that.
Yeah.
I thought he nailed it when he said that.
Yeah, somebody, I think maybe Justin said it, like Holden rattles or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like that was like what I was envisioning when they said like little kid, like that Snapchat filter when you like look like a little kid.
Oh yeah. Someone should do an animated, like they should take that clip and then try to do like an animated thing and put it up on YouTube. Dude, Hulk Hogan was in Swansea yesterday.
Yeah, Yankee Spirits. Somebody.
Yankee Spirits. Yeah. I almost went over there, but then I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do?
It's like one of my buddies had one of his beers in the fridge. I was like, what the hell is that? I didn't know what had never seen it. It's like all American beer or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The photo op with Hulk Hogan might have been worth it. I don't know. One thing before I think we get to the big topic of today's show, and I love Cinemalord. I'm a Cinemalord guy. I mean, I would even stick him in the conversation of Minifan of the Year. He didn't say much today.
No, I almost like forgot he was there, and then he like chimed in on something, and I was like, oh, he was quiet.
Yep, I thought the same exact thing because I was driving, and a lot of times now I have to, like, I play it on YouTube, but then I have to stop, go into a doctor's office or whatever, come back in, play it. So when it's off and on, every time I kept coming back in, it was just Mike and Kirk talking.
Yeah.
So then, just like you said, he laughed. Actually, I heard Cinemalord laugh, and I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
he's in there today." I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, last time he was on with you, I thought it was a little quiet too.
Yeah, I feel like he talked a little bit more that time, but he's still a good addition. Like
oh yeah,
anything he says, like I feel like he's got the accent and everything, so it holds some weight.
The Florida accent.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Mama K's 9/11 tweet. Did you see the tweet prior to them talking about it on the show?
I did not see the tweet.
Okay, so did you get the context when they were talking about it, or was it confusing?
No, I got it. Okay. Kirk's reaction was just. I replayed it like 3 times, and I'm glad I don't always watch on YouTube. I'm glad today I watched on YouTube. Today was a perfect YouTube show.
Today was a good YouTube show. Yeah, it just. And then the fact, I mean, shout out Kane, by the way, because the tweet in and of itself, I think, would have been talked about for sure. It got like 120,000 or 150,000 like views, wild tweet. Everyone was commenting on it. So they would have talked about it. But then being able to talk about a subject and then having sound to go to add more context was perfect. So good instincts by Kane.
Oh, awesome.
I hadn't heard I didn't listen to Kane's Corner prior, so this was the first time I was hearing that audio. When she started talking about the sparrow or the hawk or whatever it was, I parked. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way." That was great. Mama K. I gotta. Did you see my Starbucks tweet today?
No.
I had a breakfast or a coffee meeting with the doctor's office today. Oh, by the way, does that happen at the hospital? Like, do you get reps come in and like bring shit?
No, not to because I work on one of the floors, so I don't really we don't see the reps come in. They will come in after the hospital like purchase a new like product and show us how to like properly use it.
Yeah.
So do like an in-service for us. But we don't ever interact with them. Like when you guys would come in and like try to push the product.
Yeah. So they wanted Starbucks. So sure, that's fine. Whatever. My gripe, and I talked about it with Pat, I think with pizza, because Papagino's in Warren, you can't do delivery straight through Papagino's anymore. It's through a third party. Like you have to do it through DoorDash or something like that.
Oh, really?
Which pisses me off. But today it brought it to a whole nother level because it's a doctor's office. There were, I want to say, 7 or 8 people total. Every single one of them was getting a drink, whether it be a coffee, a frap, or some fucking lemonade. They wanted muffins and all kinds of other shit. I don't have the app. I'm not an app guy. I don't want apps. It fucking clogs up my phone. I'm old school. I can't. There's only so many of like passwords I can handle and all that stuff. So no, I don't have the app. I don't have an app anywhere. I'm about 15 minutes out. The Starbucks is in North Providence. The doctor's office is in North Providence, and I'm already kind of cutting it close. But I'm 15 minutes out of the Starbucks, and I go, "This is a pretty big order. Let me just call," because I see people picking up when I go to Starbucks. I just walk up and I order. You know what I mean? Like I get hot pike, whatever the fuck. I call. She picks up. I go, "Hey, I got kind of a large order. Can I place it over the phone?"
I've never heard anybody call that.
Really?
The Starbucks.
It's not a thing. Well, apparently it's not, because you're about to hear my wrath. So I'm telling her, I'm like, I have 7 drink orders. I was like, I got them in front of me. I'd like to place it on the phone so I could pick it up when I get there. And she's like, "Oh, we don't do phone orders. You have to use the app." So I'm already like fucking pissed off. So I'm like, I go, "Ma'am, I'm driving. I can't use an app." Like, and I thought that she'd be like, "Okay, safety first, let me do it for you this one time." Instead, she hits me with a rebuttal that I actually have to give her respect for. So I say, "Well, I'm driving. I can't." And she goes, "We have a drive-through."
She probably hung up the phone to her friends, was like,
I just
leave this asshole.
She put me in an absolute body bag. But so then I just said, I was like, "All right." So I was like, "I don't have the app. I don't feel like holding up your drive-through. Is it busy? Like, am I going to be fine if I go in and order like 10 drinks?" And she's like, yeah, it's fine. But to me, even if it's your policy not to do it in that situation, and it's early in the morning,
you can bend the rules.
Can't you?
Yeah.
Is that
I would think you could.
Like, I'm talking to a human being. She's in the fucking building. I'm going to be there in 15 minutes. Let me just rattle off these frappuccinos. And you go and you just turn around and you tell the fucking other barista, who probably has a fucking tattoo on the forehead and a feeling in her fucking wherever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, he wants 4 fraps and a lemonade. Can you get those going?" Like, I understand a policy is a policy, but where's the human aspect of this where you and I are talking like people, and all I want to do is order a couple of drinks? It infuriates me. The world infuriates me. Although, now that you said you've never heard of anyone calling Starbucks, I guess I was definitely in the wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When people call the barbershop with like stupid questions like that, it is the whole shop. Sometimes I put them on speakerphone so they can hear like the questions that they're at. Do you guys do this? Or
Well, I even think if I'm at the barbershop and let's say it's like a hot time, like a Saturday middle of the day or maybe a Friday afternoon, you guys get phone calls, and you can tell by the conversation, they're like, people will be like, "Can you take a walk in?" It's like, dude, it's Friday at like 4:30. Like, everybody in the entire world's trying to get a haircut right now.
Yeah, I think Kurt talked about this on the show. Like, he doesn't like to do appointments. A lot of places don't do walk-ins anymore. You have to make an appointment. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and walk in, but it's so much better off making an appointment.
So I will typically go to where you cut hair, but there's a barbershop near my work that I'll go to sometimes too. Not as much anymore because now I'm on the road, but they don't do appointments at all. It's all walk-ins.
Oh, so you could be sitting there for 3 hours, like.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, no, but an average Joe probably sits around. Yeah. No, he's been cutting my hair for a long time now, so usually when I come in, he like makes up a little white lie to the person. He's like, "Oh, he was just in here. He stepped out for a second," and then I think I told Pat this story, but that'll happen. And the worst part, it's great because you get in, but the worst part is, when you're sitting in the chair and you're looking in the mirror and you can see the people waiting behind you. So if you're making eye contact with the guy you just cut, he's fucking staring at you the whole time.
I did that last week for somebody. My buddy's father-in-law came in, and he was a quick haircut anyway. But I was like, "Oh yeah, he had an appointment. I'll get you right after." It happens.
Did the guy seem like visibly upset?
No.
Oh, speaking of quick story, it's been keeping me up at night of making eye contact. I went to the bar the other night and I was I was having a drink. I was, feeling pretty good. And I like look over and like near the door because I wanted to see if there was like a seat available near the door. And I look and there's a guy sitting there and he looks up and we lock eyes. Just, by accident, whatever. But it was definitely like we looked directly at each other situation. And I was like, oh, that was kind of weird. So then when I was trying to go to that seat, I had to walk by him. And of course, I kind of stumbled, like not being drunk. I just like people's feet were there. I fucking stepped directly on his foot, like hard, like the same guy that I made eye contact with. And then I was like, of course, it has to be this guy that I fucking step on his foot.
Why did you want to sit near the door?
No, I was standing and I saw a seat kind of like open up. And I was like looking, and it was it was at a Stingy Alley, so the seats on the other side of the door,
yeah,
like the front door. So I was just like looking to be like, oh, is anyone gonna go for that table? And some guy looked at me as soon as I looked, and then I fucking stepped on his feet like 30 seconds later. And I even was like, oh, my bad, buddy, and he didn't say anything, and I was like, oh, I kind of hate this. This is so bad.
Some liberal from Warren.
Yeah. Give me something. I'm sure you have something. I mean, you knew you were going to come on at some point. You give me something from the hospital that I think I might enjoy.
So last year, like in April, I broke my leg at work. My patient was choking. So I ran in the room to give him the Heimlich, and somebody else ran in behind me, and we were moving the bed. And when I was standing on the side of the bed, and I was going up to get behind him to kneel behind him, give him a Heimlich. And this dude was big. He was big. He was like 300. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be able to get my arms around him.
Yeah.
So I like go to get up on the bed, and when they moved the bed, my leg got stuck under it and it broke. So I was rolling around on the bed behind the patient while he was blue and choking, and his visitor is screaming.
So hold on. So let's back up for a second. So at this point, there are two people struggling in the room. You with a fucking broken bone, and then the patient who's choking to death.
Yes.
And this is happening simultaneously.
And they call the code, so the entire hospital comes running up to the floor. I'm rolling around behind the patient that's choking. And I broke my leg. I was unable to perform the Heimlich.
The guy didn't die, right?
No. Somebody else did die. I had to get carried out of the room.
So were people then helping you guys at the same time, or did you have to watch someone give him the Heimlich while you were like just in pain on the ground?
They brought me out of the room, and they took care of him. Somebody else, they put me in a wheelchair, brought me down to X-ray.
Was the whole scene as chaotic as like I'm picturing it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Because it was my patient. So everybody's screaming, whose patient is this? They needed to know information about him. So I was like trying to go back in the room. They wouldn't let me back in the room because I couldn't walk. It was absolute chaos.
Holy shit. Dude, what do you think like legitimately would have happened if this guy died?
I don't know. We have so many nurses on the floor. There was like 3 people in the room right after me.
Was he just eating? Like, was he just chewing food and it got stuck?
He was eating rice.
Rice?
Rice, and he choked on rice. I guess people choke on rice a lot. Now,
I've seen like a ball of rice before.
My patient choking is like my biggest fear now. I don't even like going in that room.
Yeah. That's where it happened. Oh, that is fucking crazy. I love that. That's so funny.
In Plymouth, was I still on crutches? I don't think so.
I
I just got off them. I was still like hurt. I was still like limping around.
Yeah, you definitely weren't on crutches though, because I remember after the show we like walked around Plymouth for like 2 hours looking for like a place that was open.
Like 4 hours.
Yeah. So have you golfed at all this summer?
Yeah, I haven't in a little bit. It's so I like golfing like April, May, June, July, and August. It's too hot. Right now is a good time to golf, but
I have to get back into golfing it within like 5 days, which is gonna be impossible. I haven't golfed in over a year, and I've got on Wednesday of next week, I'm going golfing with like a client and his brother, and they asked me what my handicap was. I
oh.
and I like don't even really play. My response was I play like I'm handicapped. I I hope that
I'm
answered
off,
their
I'm
question.
off Monday.
You're off Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta play at some point. And then I'm in a Johnson& Wales University baseball alumni tournament that my work is like sponsoring, and a doctor that I work with, like I invited him, and I'm gonna be like in his foursome. So this is yeah, I'm in panic mode right now.
Yeah. What did you shoot the last time you played? When is the last time you played?
Probably the summer before last, I think. I played at Swansea Country Club, which I'm pretty sure Cinema Lord mentioned on the show today.
I didn't hear him mention today, but I've heard him mention Swansea before.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he was talking about what was he saying about Swansea Country Club? Shit, I don't remember. Oh, what did you think about the whole Montante golf tournament thing?
I I would have definitely played. I think I'm glad it's not happening because I want it to be like an actual Kirk golf tournament.
Did you've probably played in things like that before, right?
Oh yeah.
Was the like what I don't know, I can't remember what they were floating, 120, 150. Is that pretty standard or were
Yeah.
you yeah.
I've paid probably like 200 for a tournament, but like 150 is normal.
But they must have included they threw in stuff, right?
Yeah, I played in a tournament at Swansea at the beginning of the year, and I think it was 150, maybe 125. And they had you usually get like lunch at the turn, and then sometimes there's a sit down dinner after. Yeah, it usually has like I said, like lunch at the turn, and then something after.
Right. I still, and I brought it up on Monday when I was on the show, but I'm still confused as like the chain of events from when they called that guy Jeremy, said, "Hey, you've been dealing with Montante." They kind of busted Montante's balls, whatever. I didn't think it was all that serious.
No.
And then they said, "We're in." And the guy Jeremy was like, "Cool, like you're in." And then next thing I know, Montante was tweeting a picture of a screenshot of a text conversation with him and the golf people, and they were like, "No, it's off. We're good."
Yeah, and then remember they called him again. He wasn't in, and they never called him back to figure out whatever happened. I'd like to know what happened. Why he said we're good.
Yeah, and I actually did talk to Montante a little bit, and then I think they addressed it on the show, but it seems like maybe the guy was just bullshitting Kirk or like just playing nice on the phone, and then behind the scenes he was a douche. But that just seems like such a wild jump because he seemed fairly normal on the phone.
Yeah, I wonder if he just got nervous because I think did Kirk say he was live? He was live. I think maybe he got nervous and was like, "Oh, you guys are good to go."
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe like it wasn't the most organized. Maybe he was like, "All right, forget this."
Yeah,
because if you're gonna have a tournament, everything would have been all set by now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
if it was being run by anyone else, you mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't even blame if I was Montante, I think, and he won't admit this, but I would have thought he would like the same way they made fun of him for thinking like, oh, you start it, you kind of get it together, get some names, and then Julie and Justin take over. Like that wouldn't surprise me if that's what his mentality was. And frankly, that would have been my mentality too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I guess I probably kind of thought that's what would happen.
Yeah, to just have some semblance of like this is going to go somewhat smoothly, right? Like
Yeah.
you want your people at KMS to have like to be dialed in at least a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that they eventually do have a tournament.
I know. And by that time, I'll be a scratch golfer. So,
Yeah.
Ricardo in the chat. Yes, this is a live show. We're doing it live. Say something. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention today is Cinema and Blind Mike. The way they were dressed today was unfucking believable.
Awesome.
They look like a couple of like old like
Old guys.
widower like at Boca Raton sipping pina coladas.
What did you think today about they were talking about listening to albums, and Kirk was asking if you asking Mike if you skip songs. What album do you listen to with no skips?
Ooh, just the anniversary 9/11, the drop of Jay-Z's Blueprint. For me, there's no skip on that one.
Yeah, no skips on that one.
I don't know if I'm gonna get killed for this or not, but I am a Zach Bryan guy, and I think like I could listen to every single song on all of his albums.
I'm going to Nashville next week, and I don't know any country songs. I don't like. I can't listen to country.
Yeah, but like when it's live though, and like they're kind of jamming, like you're just gonna be like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just gonna be fine. I think I don't know, like a lot of the Seeger and Petty stuff too. I can just listen all the way through.
A lot of people now, like when I was in nursing school, they don't listen to albums. Like Kirk said today, like it tells a story. Like a lot of people now like play albums on shuffle, and that fucking pisses me off. Like albums are put together in a specific order for a reason.
Yeah, whenever I download a new album, I have to. It's like a neurotic thing. I have to listen to in chronological order.
Yeah, and like Dark Twisted Fantasy, I listen. Like you can't like shuffle that.
Right. One thing I thought was crazy is the fact that when they were having this conversation, he asked Mike, and Mike's like, "I don't know, I don't really listen to music." and he said that before. Like he's talked about how he doesn't listen to music before.
Yeah.
And being blind and then not listening to music is
I didn't even think of that.
You'd think that'd be like your go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. What else we got in the chat? Oh, Aiton was terrible tonight. I know, Kane, I only caught the first maybe like 20 minutes. He was rattled. He couldn't stop bringing up the chat. And there's some bad blood between him and Mutt now, absolutely. Which I actually think is sneaky, making the show more entertaining. So.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad. I'm gonna have to watch after. But you said Mutt kind of like brought it up a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Right from the get-go, he kind of like tries to push him on it a little bit. He's like, he's like, Aiton, you're pissed off at me, or like, you don't like me, right? I'm not your favorite person right now. And he's like trying to push him into that. Yeah. Ricardo, Ted Sellers is a top 3 worst show guest. Now that Dave is back, hope he doesn't get the weekly invite from Justin. There was no point where Ted Sellers was getting a weekly invite though. We hadn't seen him in a while.
No, he's only.
Oh, it's twice. I don't know. He has been twice since he's been back though, right?
Yeah.
Because he did the show with Clemmer.
Yeah.
And then I think he was on again after the Coleman controversy, maybe.
Yeah, but never with Colonnade.
No, I think Sellers is good on the show.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Yeah, he's good. I like people who aren't like incredibly overbearing. Like let the show kind of do its thing.
We haven't had somebody that's bad in a while. Not that I can remember.
Yeah, that's true. Like, obviously you're not going to get to the yellow shirt guy level, but
yeah, I'd like to have one of those again soon.
I know, right? Like just.
Like content.
Just someone comes in and Kirk's in a mood.
Yeah.
Just fucking ruins their day. That's my fear every time I step in there. Like, I don't know where this is going to go. We've seen him carry up the stairs at least 3 times now. I know it's maybe the joke aspect of being carried up and down the stairs could lose its value. But when you remember that he literally has like a brittle bone situation, and if he drops, he's dead. Think about it that way, Ricardo. All right. A lot of pressure on Justin. What else did I have here?
You have your binder?
No, The first time I went in and I had that binder, I think I told you this, but I went to Halfway Cafe after and I left the binder there. And it was
I
just
wonder
all it had was
who was
topics.
playing that game.
Yeah, it had. I tried to do a game and it had what does it get? The game Guess Who?
Guess who? Yeah.
It was Guess Who, and it was pictures of all like the Minifans. I was gonna try to give everyone pictures, and we were gonna play Guess Who. Like you describe the person, whatever. So whoever found that binder at the Halfway Cafe saw a list of topics that made 0 sense, and then they found pictures of a bunch of random people.
Written in jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Goddamn. Oh yeah. This is what I was gonna say. Cullinane brought up the this Nicole Kidman show on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's an absolutely perfect Cullinane show. But I got into, dude. I'll get into that stuff. Like I'll watch Bachelor and all that stuff with my wife, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I'm rewatching Game of Thrones right now.
Yeah, are you watching? You're watching House of Dragon, right?
Yeah, it's so bad.
I know.
After rewatching Game of Thrones, it's so terrible.
I know. And you want to you want it to be good. So like, I feel like every week you give it a chance.
Yes.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh, do you watch The Sopranos? Do you skip the Melfi scenes?
No, never have.
No, I never have.
I get it though. Like I get what they're saying.
I might like tune out, like look at my phone during those scenes.
That's what I was thinking, and I'll do that now if I watch something. Oh, did you watch Rebel Ridge?
No, I do want to watch that.
Yeah, I ended up watching it. It is good.
Yeah,
it is good. It's like what I thought was pretty good about it. Like the story made sense. It was pretty good, but the actual like fighting scenes, like the scenes with like violence, actually seems somewhat realistic as opposed to, you know how a lot of movies now, like it's not a superhero movie, but the person all of a sudden becomes like larger than life. Like they can just do, like it's just a regular guy, but all of a sudden he can fight like 40 people.
Yeah, throwing people through windows and.
Yeah, it didn't seem like fantastical. It seemed like it was a little over the top, but it seemed like, okay, I could sort of see someone doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other takeaways from the week.
Not that I can think of.
One thing I thought was pretty funny. This is like referencing Kane again, and Kane's in the chat, so hopefully he'll appreciate this. He had Gilroy on his show,
yeah.
and when he
Gilroy knowing Nick's last name.
Yes, yeah.
Just you don't watch
Gilroy, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's so much better to just be like, oh, I check in, I'll listen to like an episode here and there and I follow along on Twitter. Like, that's fine.
Yeah. Is there any better people to have on the show than Mike and obviously Dave and Justin?
No.
I think somebody tweeted it this week. I don't remember who it was. That it's just those are the best. Like I listen to every show at least twice, sometimes 3 times. Some of those Mike shows I've listened to like 4 times.
You really are a good replacement for Pat Ford because he claims he listens to every show like 3 or 4 times. No, it's the best with them. Like everyone's comfortable with each other. They've all worked for the show, so there's like a, they're comfortable in front of a microphone.
Yeah,
because that's something tough. Like when you go in there, sometimes the guests they don't project their voice. They're not good on the mic, and I don't know. They're just all they're good. Those are the best fucking shows.
Yeah.
We've got the interview tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I have to admit, I had to Google who that was. Did you know it was?
I didn't know who it was, and I meant to Google it, but I was trying to finish listening to the show.
Yeah.
And I did. What was he in?
He's been in everything. I can't even. He's never like the main guy. I don't know. You'll see if you look him up. He's certainly well known. Like when you see him, you're gonna go, oh, okay, that guy.
Right.
Takeaways from the Unnamed show.
I didn't get all the way through. I got through the Bernstein part.
Yeah.
And just like Kirk says, like it's like the same thing as Goodell and like anybody. If you just come on, make a joke of it, make a joke of yourself, it'll all go away. But it's not gonna go away until it'll just never go away.
I know, and it's confusing. It's more confusing than the Montante golf story because the name of the show has fucking Bernstein in it.
Yeah.
So he called him by like in my mind, the preferred name.
Yeah. And I don't think Eddie even. Do you think he even caught that he was like did he even caught that he was like pissed that he called him that?
I don't know if they could see each other, or for them if it was all audio. So if it was all audio, I think he kind of thought it was definitely weird, and like he was throwing him a little bit of shade. But
yeah,
Kirk brought it up on the show, and he's absolutely right. Yeah, the visual was bad.
Yeah,
like Bernstein. What the fuck? That's so fucking weird. Completely just like a political and barstool thing, though. Like those people, their minds are just completely gone.
Yeah.
And then the White Sox Dave thing was pretty funny.
It didn't. I don't know.
If you didn't get that far, basically, they caught. So someone found like a trail of like this brown stuff on the carpet. I
just got to that part. Just he dip spit on the floor.
Yeah. And like they caught him on the camera, like he was dripping it, and then when he noticed, he walked back and he got like his foot and like rubbed it with his foot, like right on camera, and he was trying to deny it. He's one of those people, like he's only, I would say, maybe a chromosome or two above Mincy. Like if he was missing one more chromosome, he'd just be fucking Mincy. Oh man.
Did you ever dip?
Yeah, like never like regularly. I remember I was working for the town of Warren, and someone had it, and they were like, "Oh, you want to try it?" And I used to drive the trucks, like the big town trucks.
Oh,
and I put it in. I started driving, and I was going down Long Lane in Warren, like the long part of Long Lane, like heading down into Tuisset, and it just hit me, and I had to pull the truck over. I got out of the car, and I was just like standing on the side of the road for a few minutes. Don't mind the Zins though.
Yeah, no, I am a Zin guy.
Yeah.
No free ads.
No free ads. All right, that'll probably do it. Unless you got anything else.
No, that's it. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We hope Pat is doing all right. I'm hoping this was as boring show as ever for all the Drip fans out there. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you later.